Hi, in this video, we'll cover the basics of how to use and create collections, so stay tuned. Collections can be used for a number of ways inside of Power Apps. They're basically an array that you store in memory in Power Apps. They can be used to keep data offline or take data offline. They can be used to manipulate data and batch it up to your SQL Server or whatever your data source of choice is. We'll be using just some basic collections today to kind of view and kind of see the different functions we'll be using. So a few functions we'll be using today. We'll be using the collect to actually retrieve the data and actually put it inside the collection. We'll be using clear to clear the collection, patch to update the collection, and we'll use ClearCollect to basically do the same thing at the same time. So let's see how we can actually do this. So on my big screen now, we're going to go ahead and use up top here just a basic application that does nothing at all. So let's start with creating a few labels and then creating a few text inputs first. So up top, let's go ahead and do just that. So I'll create a quick one. We'll create two labels that will just say things like the product you want to buy, and there we go. So we'll just say the product you want to buy and the quantity you wish to buy of that product. Okay. And we'll keep it simple, not name any of these at this point going forward. Let's get two inputs coming in. This is what we're going to actually pass data into this guy. So let's go ahead and create two of those inputs. Okay, and we'll use this to actually collect the data. I will label these because we're going to use these quite often, two more times here. So on this right here, we'll call this, give us an input. We'll call this one input quantity. And we'll call the other one input product. Okay, now we of course should put some basic logic inside of this, like get rid of this and give it some kind of hint, but we'll just kind of keep it simple just to keep you from actually making a mistake there. Now that we've done that, let's go ahead and create a button to actually inject that new row into the collection. So let's go ahead and do that by just creating a new quick button, and we'll call this one collect, just so we can kind of keep a track of what function each button is going to be doing. Okay, so to create our collection, there's a few ways we can do it. One is with the collect function. The collect function basically creates the collection and will then inject the first set of rows into it. Maybe just one row, maybe just a number of rows. The ClearCollect will, if there's anything in that collection, will wipe it clean and then load it up again. So those are two options that we're going to use. I've only had to use the ClearCollect for very localized kind of things when I'm starting up an app, maybe, just in case there might be going to a new screen perhaps where there might be something in that collection from a previous setting. In our case, though, we're just going to use a collect option. You'll find yourself not using the ClearCollect too often. So for up here, let's go ahead. And nice thing is it's going to kind of write the code for us. We'll use a collect function, and up top you'll see what the next step is. We'll name our collection. So let's call this collection, and I'll just say cart. Then do a comma. We'll do these little squirrely braces here just to kind of represent an array coming into it. And then we'll have to name each column in our collection. So let's name our first one product. Do a colon, and where is that product information at? Well, it's coming from our input product dot text. Okay, our next one is going to be quantity. Again, it's going to be the same thing. It'll be input quantity dot text. And I must have misspelled that. I did. I forgot my P. There we go. Okay, so there we go. We have our first collection now created. And just to play with this, let me go ahead and close out our coding window here. And let's try to actually inject a row in this. So let's go ahead and pop the value of, how about basketball? And I want 4 of those. So when I hit the collect button, I'll do a baseball one. And 5 of those. I'll do 2 of those to kind of, all right, good enough. So you really can't see the results right now. We're going to put something on the side here to show the results. But first, let's go ahead and look at where we can see the results if you're kind of in debug mode like I am right now. I prefer to create a gallery, but there's another way of seeing it also. The way you can see it's under File, and you can go to Collections, and we'll see our rows right here. So that's one way you can debug it. You can also see that with other variables as well. So let's go ahead and show how we can actually see this in a gallery and start to use this collection. So up top here, we'll create a new gallery. We'll just go ahead and point to our collection data source. There's our collection right there. And then we'll just say we just want the title and maybe the subtitle. Good enough. Okay. So it's treating it just like any of the database table at this point. And we can do things with it. We can delete items from it. We can remove items. As a matter of fact, let's actually remove one of the items now. Let's see how we can do that. First of all, make sure you're actually in the gallery by hitting the little pencil icon. Make sure you're actually looking at a row right now. And then up top here, let's go over to icons and then trash. Let's actually remove one of these guys here. Okay, really simple to remove one of these guys. We'll go ahead and just say remove. And we'll say this item. And I need to say where I want to remove it from, excuse me. Remove the collection, so it'll be call cart and comma, and you'll see what actually item I need to refer to, this item. So let's see how that works now. If I hold down the Alt key, click on baseball, boom. It's a really fast process. If I were to refresh screen, we'll only see the basketballs right down that left. Now, the next thing we want to do is actually edit this, right? So we'll use that little chevron right here to actually edit that, but we'll come back to that in just a few seconds here. So when I select this chevron, I want to be able to go ahead and edit that row and patch it back up to the collection. That's our final piece of this, but there's one more piece I want to show, and that's how to clear the collection completely. So let's go ahead and select our button again. Okay, whoop, I did this inside the gallery. Let me go and undo that. There we go. Let's go back to that button again, and we'll call this Clear Collection. Okay. So I'm using the function name so you can kind of get an idea of what this is doing now. So in this case, really simple to do. Just type in clear. Now this is going to wipe it out completely. What collection name do you want to go with? And you close that out. So let's go ahead and just load a few rows in here again. I'll just kind of create some junk in here. Collect and 5. There we go. Hit clear. It's all gone. So really simple, really fast to do. And it only took a few lines of code to actually do this. I'm going to kill that guy. All right, now our last step is to actually edit this collection. And to do that, we'll use that little chevron and we'll create a mini form on the left here to do just that. Now, in our case, I'll just go ahead and I'm going to kind of cheat and I'm going to copy this block of code right here, down here. We'll avoid our naming conventions right now and we'll pretend like it is what it is, right? So there's a few ways we can do this. We can go ahead and group those together and hide them if they're not editing. But for the time being, we'll just kind of start as is, and we'll keep it very, very simple. So when I select one of these, I want to see the values that I selected on the bottom here. So we probably know how to do this already, but just make sure we're all on the same page. Let's go and set the default value for each of these. So this is our product in this case. So our default value for product will be the gallery that you selected. Now I only have one gallery right now, so it's called Gallery 1. I should have named it better, but we'll go with it for the time being. Dot selected. So whatever item you have selected, and I want to get the product inside that. So let me go ahead and just copy that out because I'm going to use that one more time. Again, the default again. Let me go back up top. And let's go ahead and select that. This time we want to get the quantity. There we go. So now, as I go through, and let's add a few more items in here. Let's go ahead and add in a football. And make sure I actually pop in the right value here. Oop. All right, collect. Now if I hit the little chevron now, we'll see it actually puts football and that value down there. So that part is working. Now we just have to go through and actually edit the value, right? So that's our final step in this process, is to go ahead and edit this. So let's go ahead and I'm gonna steal my button right here for the collect. I'll paste it down here. And we'll call this one patch. Now the patch function is used for a number of ways, but mainly it's going to be used to update our collection. So it looks a lot like collect, except we have to name the collection and actually pass in the values. So it's going to be really, if you have the code already written for collect, just go ahead and steal that code and you're 90% of the way there for patch. So let's take a look. All right, so for our patch command, again, I've copied and pasted the collect code. I'm going to go up top here and I'm going to change that to the word patch. We already have our collection name right here. Notice it's actually kind of writing the code here. What do you want to patch? I want to patch the source right here. Now in this case, I don't want to use product. I want to use product_1, which is this guy you're seeing right here, not the top one. Again, I should have used better names for these, but it is what it is. And there we go. So now let's take a look at this. Okay. So I have my football. Let's go back to Waterboy here. Let's call this foosball. Let's hit patch. Okay. Oh, I had to select it first. Oh, I know what I did wrong here also. The part I did wrong, and I should have actually looked at the code I was telling you guys to look at. So you'll see right here up top, it has a little red line, and it's telling me that I have a collection. I then have to specify, and you'll actually see the error. This is what it's a really common mistake to make because you're just like copying and pasting code. So this is a great debug opportunity here. So what we did wrong in this case is you'll see up top, I named the collection, and it's looking at the data source, perfect. The next step it wants is what record do you want to update? Right now it's trying to update the entire collection. You can't do that. So I need to specify the record that I want to update. So that's going to be pretty simple. We just have to do our gallery. Gallery1.selected. And that's going to specify the record that we want to select. So now we've isolated it down to one record, and we're going to pass that value back to that one record. So that's an easy one to debug, just a simple mistake. So let's go ahead and put our foosball information back in there. I'm not sure how to spell foosball, so we'll hope that's right. And there we go. So now we've now injected rows, we've cleared rows, we now have removed rows with our clear command. And we've also now had to learn how to patch those rows with the patch command and doing updates that way. Now there are other things, of course, we could do with this form. We may decide to go ahead and hide this if nothing's selected. So let me just show you a quick bonus tip here for today on kind of how do we use this to kind of hide this stuff and not show that form only if we're actually trying to edit. So if I go back over here again, I've selected all the values that you're seeing down here. And let's group all those together to kind of hide them. Okay, this is just a little bonus tip for today. We'll go over to home, we'll group all that stuff together. Then we're going to create a new variable, which we're going to default to false. So I'm going to go over to my app first. So this is my overall application. When it first starts, I'm going to set a new variable here. I'll use a global variable. This really could be using a local variable, but we're supposed to make it nice and lazy here because we want to use this across multiple screens perhaps. So let's go ahead and use a set command. We'll give our variable, I'll say show update, and then we'll give it a value of false. So by default, we don't want to see that edit right here. So when I select my group, I'm going to go over to the visible flag, right there, visible on the group. And right now it's set to true. I'm going to set equal to that variable. So now it's hidden by default. And then when you select any item in this gallery on the right here, go ahead and show that at that point. There's a number of ways we can do this. This is just one of the ways. So when we select an item, so this is on the whole gallery here, when on select, we'll go ahead and change that variable. Oops. So go ahead and set that variable right here to be equal to true. Again, this will be probably best served as an update context, but I'm using this just in case I want to use this across multiple screens. In other words, I'm being lazy right now. So let's go ahead and run this again. You'll see that as I add these items in here, perfect. And as I select one of these, we now show up. I can patch my new value of 343 items and rocking and rolling. So in this video, we showed you how to inject new rows with the collect command. We also showed you how to clear the rows out with a clear command. We showed you how to update rows with the patch command. And then we also showed you a number of other things like how do we hide those and remove the rows with the remove also. Well, hope you enjoyed this. This is the basics of collections. It gets a lot more interesting as we start to go offline with these collections also. But hope you enjoyed this starting video on how to use collections inside of Power Apps. Have a great day. See you next time.